How's it going, guys? This is Avollon, and welcome back to Avollon's World. In the last episode, we built up our Guardian farm, and it is working like a charm. Now, one thing I quickly want to say is I made some adjustments over here, and my hostile creatures is up again for some reason. I added 2 more blocks here with some levers so I can close the trapdoors here. And then when I need to AFK for a lot of prismarine, like I needed to, and I'll show you guys what I got in a second, I take away the water and I place campfires here, and it helps a lot because it instantly kills the guardians in like 1 or 2 seconds after they land on the campfires because they take fall damage, and that just keeps refreshing the mob cap. Where with these guys standing here, they're taking up the entirety of the mob cap, and not enough guardians are coming down to, get a whole bunch of drops. But anyway, we've got a lot of different shulker boxes here that I have made countless different bits and bobs of prismarine related bits, and I don't even know if this is enough. I don't know, but we do still have a good amount of prismarine shards. At least we were like over into this section over here, so we used like half of our prismarine shard supply to make dark prismarine, which is the first time I'm having a like ridiculous supply of dark prismarine, so it's like one of my favorite blocks in the game, so hooray. But we're going to be using a heck of a lot of it. But before we start today's episode, I checked the statistics on some of the most recent episodes, and it turns out that half, if not 3/4 of you are not subscribed. So if you could hit that red subscribe button down below, it'd mean a lot to me. I have a goal set. I want to try to reach 100 subscribers by the end of April. It might be a little bit of a long shot, but it's always good to push yourself. So if you guys could help me reach that goal, that would be great. I've got a special already planned out, but I need to hit 100 subscribers first. And once I hit it, I'll make a video explaining my special because it involves you guys. But yeah, I'm going to get started on laying out some foundations, getting some towers and walkways and stuff underwater built up, and I will be back once I got some progress to show you guys. Alright, so I've been busy getting the foundations in place, and when I say foundations, I literally mean the foundation of the building. Actually, I noticed there's a couple blocks over here. This bothers me. If you guys don't do this, it makes your builds look 10 times better. If you have like a structure going into the ground, like a house or something, just having the blocks poke out so that there's no like gravel, dirt, anything below it helps give it more of a structural look to it. I used to not do that too, and I don't know how I got away with it. But on the front here, you can see we got the 2 towers. There's towers on each corner, and then they're going to poke out through the water a little bit, and I think up a little bit more, and then we're going to use some dark prismarine and make like a pointy slanted roof or something like that. I'm still not quite sure on that. We got this little indentation here encasing the guardian elevator that goes all the way up to the top. I do plan on making a tower here, at least having this come up and kind of getting skinnier as it goes along, and then it'll slowly just fade into what it is now, and then it'll slowly fade out into like a bulkier structure at the top, I think. I want to make the storage room in the killing chamber almost like a floating watchtower, with like it being held by like a prismarine chain. I think that's an interesting take on it and a good challenge to present myself, so I'm going to do that. But that's later on in the episode, because we got to get the towers and the roof in place first before we can start that. So I have a walkway going around the entirety of the structure here. I gotta make the bases of the towers look a little bit more interesting. I might wait until the actual tower is done, so I can then just start adding slabs and stairs and walls and everything, making it look just a tad bit better. I do plan on having the walkway go in between the tower, or inside of it. Inside of it, that's the right word to use, if I can speak basic English, because I can't. So each corner is practically the same. The walkways are all at the same elevation. I just gotta make the structure below the main walkway, which if we come over yonder, you guys can see I actually did this side and the front side, so I only got 2 more sides to do to get the foundation done. If we can come over here, you can see that's what it'll probably end up looking like. Maybe. It might be lower down on that side, I'm not quite sure. Because what I entirely go for is I want to have at the highest point of the sea level, or sea floor, I guess is what it's called, I have a block stair, and then whatever is in between I fill in with this prismarine. So, I'm going to get to making more foundations, and I'll be back once I got some more progress to show you. Alright, so I got the foundation of the Guardian elevator tower in place. I think it's a tower, that's what you call it, right? I think it looks pretty cool. I did want to incorporate the fact that you can see the Guardians coming up the elevator, so if you're coming through down here, once you build the underwater city down here and you're walking around and, you know, or not walking, but swimming, you know, because I just sprinted and I started swimming, so paths are kind of irrelevant underwater. But you can see the Guardians just zoom up through the elevator, and I think the base of it looks pretty good. It's got a good amount of angles. It only goes up to, I think 2 or 3 blocks above the water level, but the elevator, that's what it is. The roof should give it some more, you know, structural stability, even though that's not a thing in Minecraft. But we also added the front entrance staircase thing, and then we gotta add the actual entrances inside of the monument area, because this is gonna be the royal palace or royal keep of the Queen of Dragons, or Queen of the Ocean, or, you know, whatever she wants to go by. This is going to be like her royal palace, you know, with throne room and treasure room and everything. So we need to do that, but we'll worry about the insides later. Right now I'm just worried about the outsides and everything. So yeah, I haven't touched the towers yet, and I've got the other foundations in place. So I'm gonna get working on these towers now, because that one went pretty easily, pretty quickly, and I like how it turned out. After I get the overhang in place over the walkways here, it should add in a little bit less, you know, bulky and blocky over here, because on the sides it's a little, you know, flat, but it's kind of what I was going for. And then once I get the overhangs, like I said, it should help break up the flatness of the wall and the towers, hopefully. So I'm going to get to building up these towers next, and then I shall be back once I got maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 towers done. Who knows? We'll see what I get done in the amount of time. For you, it'll be a second. For me, I don't know how long. Okay, so as you can see, I've got some progress done here, and this is all the progress I have done. Nothing on the other walls or the other towers. But I believe I have the basic tower design down, which is good, except for the top portion there and the little overhangs over the main walkways, which I don't think for me, I don't know how long to get. Okay, do you still have to add in the entranceways to get into the keep? That's kind of important, but we'll worry about that later. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of progress, because it's been quite some time, missing some words there, since I've last recorded, and as you can see I haven't done anything over here yet, but the towers won't take too long to make, so it's not too much of a hassle. But I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm doing here, but I do like how you can just, you know, see the Guardians just going up the water chute there. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little update. You can actually still go inside of the towers, and then I have like a little watch post in the middle of it, and then there'll be one up top once we get the cap on top of this thing, I guess is what you could call it. Haven't done anything on the inside. Don't really know if I'm ever going to, because it would be nice to be able to access the conduits all the time, just in case I need to move them or change them or something. I don't know. Like I said, everything's kind of all up in the air at this moment, so I probably will end up later this episode adding some sort of like windows or something above these overhangs, just to kind of break up the flatness of the wall and throw in more textures, depending on how the roof looks. That's the main thing. So I'm going to get to working on getting the other 2 towers in place, getting the overhangs in place, and then we can start the roof. I'm just going to use a lot of dark prismarine, and I will be back again once I've got more towers and more overhangs in place. It'll take some time for me. For you guys, it'll just look exactly like this, just on a, you know, without the middle section here, which I still don't know how that's going to work. I feel it's going to be a little too plain, but I'll see what I can figure out in the meantime. I finished all 4 towers, added all the overhangs, and let me just say, it looks pretty good, not gonna lie. I don't know which... Okay, so this is the front. So over here is the right side, and they all honestly kind of look the same. I don't know how I thought I was going to be able to do that. All 3 sides look the same. Let's just fly so I can fly in the water. But as you can see, it wraps all the way around. Every single tower is done. And it's, like I said, same on each and every single side. Coming up in the air, you can see all 4 towers on the top here, and I think it looks pretty darn cool, not gonna lie. And the sea lanterns I added on the walkways help illuminate it, so you can kind of see it outside of the water, which is kind of one of the things that's kind of important when you're flying over. You can see the grandness of it, I suppose. Especially out front, it has a little bit more. The kelp blocks everything, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of kelp removal and strategically put that in places. But until then, hi, dude, how you doing? Until then, it's kind of just gonna be obstructing our view. What I gotta do now is work on the roof that is gonna go over top of this. Still not 100% sure which design I'm going with yet. That was a Guardian. If you guys remember in the World Tours, I showed you a super smelter that was over in my base area. It has a cool temple-like vibe to it, which is what I was kind of going for. I think I'm going to use the same roof design as that one, and starting it just will angle up to a peak and then angle back down. That way it kind of has some, depth to it, and then the towers can kind of come out a little bit, and then poke out a little bit, have a cap. There's some phantoms. I don't know how they just spawned. Let's fly away. But I think we can do that, and it'll turn out pretty good. So I'm going to get started on that. I got to fly back to my base and look at the thing first to figure out what I'm doing. And then I will be back once I've got some progress to show you guys. I feel like I'm saying that a lot nowadays. So, it's been some time, and I got the end caps on the towers all set and done, and I started laying out the foundations of the roof. Now let me just say, I'm going to need a heck of a lot more dark prismarine, more than likely. But that's not what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about these end caps, or the top parts of the towers, which I think look pretty good, yet after finishing them, I do think that it kind of defeats the purpose. That the roof is going to be a lot higher than the top point of the tower here, so it kind of defeats the purpose of them ever being a watchtower. But it also then makes this being a watchtower up here have a little bit more sense. Where these ones are kind of just more like level ground views that they can, watch the perimeter, where this one's like a full 360. They can watch everything. I think that's how I'm going to go with it, because, yeah, I didn't think these going up any higher would make too much sense. Since it is supposed to be an underwater royal palace, it's kind of not supposed to be above water, and I didn't have much of another choice to make it above water. I could have, flattened it off, and it could just be a box. But I'm choosing to make it look fancy. As you can see, I've also have steak. I've been here a while. I've eaten all my golden carrots that I had with me. I don't have a box form, apparently. I didn't know that. But as you can see over here, our beacon beam actually is still here. And each and every single one is still active. That one over there. And this, just looking at it, you would think, how is that possible? That's a solid block. That shouldn't pass through it. Well, it's actually a slab. And they can pass through slabs and stairs, apparently. I didn't know that. And when I was building this, I was like, alright, I gotta figure out a way to get the beacon beam through. They can't pass through sea lanterns, which are transparent blocks, but they can pass through slabs and stairs, which is great, because I didn't have to put random glass blocks all over the place. So you can see the inside of the structure here is kind of decorated a little bit. I don't know how you would get in here, because this leads nowhere. If I remove this block, that's the sea lanterns on the bottom, or yeah, on the top of the bottom watch point that's under the water there. So how you get in here, I don't know. Will we ever come in here? Probably not. That's why the roof or the ceiling Doesn't look the greatest. I always mix the roof and the ceiling up. Roof's outside, ceiling's inside. Get it right, brain. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, I just added some prismarine walls here. I've also added the little, I'm flying, apparently. I added the little details on the outside there to give the top part of it just a little bit more bulkiness, because it's been kind of flat going all the way up. And as you can see, I think it looks pretty cool. If we come underwater, it sticks out just enough that it, you know, makes a good impression, but it doesn't stick out like a giant tower in the sky like that one does. Or will. Let me just say, the Guardians going up this drop chute is really fun to watch. Building this, I just see constant Guardians going up, and this is during the day too, and I haven't lit up any of the caves down below. Crazy, crazy stuff. But I'm gonna get the placing in the roof, because then we need to place in a whole bunch of cyan concrete, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I had to get the towers done first, because the roof here has to actually go around them, as you can see down here. I've already kind of experimented where it's starting and finishing, so I'm gonna get to that, and I'll be back with you guys once hopefully I got a roof in place. Alright, I'm halfway there. I got the wall raised up to meet up with the roof, and I've got half the roof in place, and let me just say, I like how it looks. It's definitely worth the time and effort I'm putting into it. I'm just going to need like another 2 shulker boxes of dark prismarine, but I have the wither roses, so that's not a problem. And I got the prismarine shards. It's just the problem of crafting them, which is going to take a while to do. But, as you can see, the other side isn't done, and we got the one wall raised up, but not the other. This is the extent of my cyan concrete supply, so I'm going to have to go stock up on some of those. But yeah, I like how it looks. We're probably going to have to put something in this area here, just to kind of fill in the gap, because it is kind of empty, but so far so good. One thing I do want to mention is this tower here that I said I was going to do with the floating watchtower. Probably won't get around to that in today's episode, because this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. So we'll probably do like a mini episode, which will be the same length as a normal episode. We'll just do that, and we'll probably make it real fancy, you know, do some time lapses and everything, whatnot. Do a lot of fancy stuff with that episode, just because it won't take a lot of time to make. So you can expect that one out pretty quickly, I would hope. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to get to crafting up some dark prismarine and getting the rest of this roof in place, because that is all I got to do yet. And then the outer shell of the royal palace is done. So I will be back once the roof is finished, and no longer rain can get inside. And I just say, lots of bats. Lots of bats. There they are. They all despawned now. And there it is. It's pretty breathtaking for me, to be honest, that I did that. This is one of the biggest projects I've ever taken on in this game. And now we got the roof done, and we got the walls extended on all sides. As you can see here, cyan concrete for days. I've got a whole bunch of cyan-related products in my inventory. This thing looks amazing. I'm really happy how this turned out. I extended the prismarine bricks up this tower a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit more fortification, if I can speak. But you can actually see into the palace through the bubble vader here. You can see the farm right there. So unfortunately you can't see the farm anymore, but once we get the interiors decorated, we'll be able to, you know, see all the Guardians doing their thing, and all the Guardians will be zooming up this elevator too, so we don't have to worry about missing the Guardians anymore. So let me just say, this at night looks really cool because the sea lanterns help illuminate everything. So I think if we do add anything in these bare empty spots, definitely going to be using some sea lanterns. This turtle hasn't moved from that location, by the way. He's just been chilling there. But I definitely will be using some sea lanterns. Definitely probably out the back here I'll make a giant window. I'm thinking because we made so much space from the top of the farm to the top of this roof here that I think the throne room will be on top of the actual Guardian farm, just because there's a lot of room, and a throne room is obviously supposed to be big and grand. So if we do that, we'll have the throne out the back here. We could have a giant window so you can see right out the back, which I think would be pretty cool. But next episode, another turtle. Jeez, they're everywhere. Next episode, we'll work on this and get this looking a lot better, because this looks good. that doesn't. That looks like a floating mess in the sky, which is exactly what it is. So, I have to work on that yet. But that's going to be next episode. We'll make it a super fancy one with time lapses and everything, because we're literally just going to do that. And the one following that, we'll go ahead and actually make the interiors and get everything situated. And I want to make a statue of the Dragon Queen. I have a skin picked out so we can make a statue underwater. I have yet to plan that out yet, so I have a little bit of time to kind of figure out what I'm going to do there. But flying around here, this thing just looks amazing from every angle. And can you imagine? So later down the road, a lot later down the road, because I have a lot of projects I want to get accomplished before 1.16 comes out, whenever that is, a whole city surrounding this entire ocean with this as its like center focal point. Pretty darn cool, not gonna lie. Still need a name for this place, so if you guys got any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. But without further ado, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that like button, because a lot of work went into this, a lot of grindy block placing went into this build, and we're not done yet. This is only half the project. Got the whole inside and all that to do yet, so if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to hit the like button. It'll, let me know you guys enjoy the content. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I still want to aim for 100 subscribers by the end of April, even though it's, a little later than I would have liked this video to get out. Please help me reach that goal. It would be awesome, and I have a pretty fancy special planned out for you guys. So, yeah. Without further ado, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Farewell.